Good afternoon, Jess. And yes, the Nissan's going very well in supercar practice. We do have a couple of Nissans out there, kind of. It's a scaled-down version of it. Stevie J is going to be joining me for this, the first race. They've got 4 here this weekend. The only race on the undercard. Oh, man, there's some serious dirt and dust out there at the moment on the backstretch. Only race here this weekend, Stephen, that will have 4 races, so they're going to be very busy. They've got a race today, and then they'll be pushing on through Saturday and Sunday action. Also good to see so far that the DJR Team Penske boys had a nice turn of speed in those practice sessions as well. But let's check out, Steve, how they'll be lining up. Kel Tressida and Adam Ubergang, a pair of Queenslanders on pole position. Yeah, great job by them. I think it's Kel's first actual pole position, so great for him. Adam Ubergang there, really trying to keep that championship going. Is in P2 there, Craig Woods and James Duckworth on row 2. Craig Thompson, Harley Haber, one of the younger guys there, Harley Haber, Ben Wilcox and Troy Adams will be starting off the 7th row. I haven't seen too much of Troy Adams actually this weekend. Sean Rose carrying one of our onboards here this weekend. Grant Thompson, a familiar name. Peter Griffiths got himself stuck out there in the dust. He'll be starting off the 13th row. And Shivers had that nasty spin as well with broken componentry towards the front end of that car. Michael Rinkin's got some cars to pass. And then look at Ben Walsh down the back. That's a long way back, you know, P2 in the championship. He really needs to attack here. We've seen him, he can come through the field. We saw that at Darwin, but it's going to be a bit of a different story here, I think. Although it is his home track, he is quite fast around here. So it's going to be interesting to see Ben coming through that field and see where he can end up by the end of this 13-lap race. So a couple of onboards to watch out for. Ludby's got the shades on, looking very cool right now. And looking directly into the sunlight, Sean Rose, a little less cool right now. He rounds the last corner and brings it back onto the front straight. They'll grid up and go racing. Kel Tressida, pole position. He's first in this championship. We've seen first-time pole sitters in Kumo Series, in Aussies, and in Formula 4, all in the same day. Yeah, very interesting too. And track's very dirty after all the, obviously all the categories that have been out, had their practice and qualifying. So you can see it there. There is just dirt, and a lot of that is that dirt, that orange dirt you can see on the left of screen there at the end of that curb, coming out wide onto that straight, and it's just dragging all that dirt onto the middle of the track. They've actually put that extra bit of concrete on the edge there to help that problem. Seems like they might have need to extend that maybe just a little bit further. It's like a war zone after 90 minutes of supercars have been out there on track on the soft tyre. But either way, it's our first race of the weekend. Just something else for the Aussie racing car stars to think about. This grid of 38 peels around the last corner. Ben Walsh off the back with a lot of cars to pass. Up on the rev limiters. Red lights are on. And we're racing for the first time this weekend. And it's the Aussie racing cars that get us going. Duckworth trying to cover off Woods aggressively down to the first corner. Tressida should be able to lead it, but Ubergang wants to try to hang around the outside. And they'll rinse and repeat at turn 2. He's hanging on there. It does get quite dirty on the outside of turn 2 here. Tressida in the box seat. Tressida being very kind to him as well there, giving him a lot of room. Absolutely, giving him a lot of room there. Side by side down the back straight. You can just see him there in the background. They started side by side. They'll still be side by side at turn 3, but if Ubergang's not careful, Duckworth might be able to pick him up. No, he'll slot back into 2nd. Duckworth 3rd, Woods 4th. Pingle now side by side with Adrian Flack and Trent Young in behind them. Kyle Clues, Grant Ludby and Shiveris rounding out the 10. And it's been a controlled first lap, but Duckworth wants to change all that up down at turn 5. He will get back in behind Ubergang at 4. He had a crack. Didn't quite work. Yeah, just got in really deep there. Locked those rear tyres up. Couldn't pull it up before getting it nice and tight to that apex. So Adam Ubergang there, able to get back in front. Giving Tressida now just a little bit of a gap with them fighting. You can see Clues there, trying to pick up another spot there behind Young. Those two are right at the front of the field in Darwin. We go up above the front straight. Tressida steadies himself down towards the first corner. He's done exactly what he needed to do. Can he turn his first pole position into a first race win? We're on board with Grant Ludby, having to be very patient. And this is something that we've seen all day today, whether it be practice qualifying or now in this race.
they seem to be very loose, very sliding oversteer with these little cars here. So I can see just out of the commentary box window here, I think Ruth we're going to be okay. Ruth Bowler just
into the pits.
Yep, coming in. Oh, you can hear that lock up there.
Got it done.
Got it done though.
Aggressively. You can really jump on the anchors with these things. They're unbelievable when it comes to stopping power. We go on board with Sean Rose, shifting through that motorcycle gearbox, connected to a motorcycle engine. He's got a bit of a battle to worry about. A couple of Mustang bodies side by side through turn 4. It's Wilcox and Thompson ahead of him. Let's check out a replay at the start. That's Ruth Bowler off the very back in the older model car. She chose to go back there for the start of this race, I imagine, because it wasn't due to be like that. Her 200th race in this category, I think it is this weekend. And what a start it was between the two guys off the front row. Very tight indeed.
Yeah, great start there. Here's some onboard here.
So Ludby probably starting where the racetrack's quite dirty. Inside guys getting away nicely. Went back in behind Trent Young. Doesn't look to have too many guys to worry about, so he's just hanging tough at the moment. And then this has happened. Coming onto that short chute, Woods getting a bit of a hip and shoulder from Adrian Flack.
Just running him out of road there, a little bit of a hit in that left-hand door. Ubergang now back into third, Duckworth up there.
It looked like a car had pulled over to the right-hand side of the track there as well, right on approach to that corner.
This is playing into the hands of Kel Tressler out the front.
Yeah, Kel will just stream away. It's Michael Rinkin. Instead, we've got some Nissan Altimas. Thankfully for Nissan, their bigger cars are going a little bit better than the smaller ones today. Very strong in practice for the supercars. There'll be another session after this as the battle for second intensifies. Ubergang late under brakes, but Duckworth is later. As a result, runs it a little bit high and dry through the last corner. And Ubergang wheels up alongside him. They'll go side by side down the front straight.
Yeah, you can just see Kel getting away now with these guys swapping positions each lap. If they want to catch up with him, as you can see there, Duckworth, they've got the speed to catch him. They just need to work together. Oh, still very loose, flat there, and a little bit wide. Made up a few spots now in fourth.
And Trent Young here with a good run on the back now of Woods. You watch that little silver car and also the Lockyer's car that's going to peek out and have a crack down this long back straight. Anyone going to go defensive? Doesn't look like it. No local yellows down here from what I can see either for the car that's stranded. And Flack moves up alongside the series leader, puts him back a spot. Gardier breaks entry, drops to fourth. And now the defending champ, Pingle, will also be lining up the young star out of Sydney. Had a bit of a think about a move on the Chevy down there at turn 4.
Oh, late on the brakes there. Just see him hiking the wheel up.
Oh, man. Waters with a big slide around at turn 1. That was a violent spin as it cannoned across the edges of the circuit.
It was, and you can actually see here, once he's lost control here, slid sideways out of turn 1, these engines and these cars don't like to be actually running backwards. And what I mean by that is, if he kept his foot on the brake and just stopped those wheels from spinning, he may have done some damage to that engine by looking at it here with the engine running in reverse. So
at least it gets some good airtime for the Cure for Motor Neuron Disease Foundation, which is a fabulous cause. We pick up the action back at the front. Oh, Duckworth with a bad exit at turn 2, and he will be vulnerable. He knows that there's an attack coming, and he can't get far enough across to stop Pingle from getting into what was a very small gap, but if he's not careful, the Sinclair Ford entry might have a crack as well. He's weathered the storm nicely. Flack now wants second. He's the fastest guy out there. He's at the fastest lap of the race that time through on lap 4. And if he can clear Ubergang, he might be able to chase down the race leader, who's a 10th of a second quicker than him. His fast lap, but Ubergang's not giving this one up without a fight. Can Flake get the switch back for turn 5? No overlap there. Ubergang hangs on, and this will just further help Kel Tressler. With his wife at the track cheering him on, he's been quickest in both sessions so far today, Kel. Can he continue that into a race win? 2.3 seconds that gap. And it'll only grow the longer this train brawls like this. Skipping away, isn't he, Stevie?
He is, yeah. He's pulled another couple of tenths out that lap. He's actually out to 2.3. He really, with these guys fighting back and forth, he really pulled out a fairly big gap there in that last lap. 8 tenths of a second on that lap, so that's a huge margin. That sort of margin when you're running side by side, or when you're running even single file, it can take you 3, 4, 5. You know, if you're only gaining a tenth of a lap, it could take 8 laps. So,
in other words, it's pretty much game over.
Well, when you look at these guys fighting so hard, yeah, absolutely, they're not doing themselves any favours by getting to that leader. Maybe they've just succumbed to Kel. You know, he's going to win this race, and they're just fighting it out for the minor placings now.
We're just about halfway home right now, you'd have to say. In this, the first of 4 races, and Flack is through. So he's finally cleared Ubergang, who's going to fight for every position, it seems. That's his mindset right now. Pingle falls back in behind him. He's doing a pretty good job at delaying the inevitable here, Adam Ubergang, but that's not going to help.
And he's just gone wide coming at it. All that good work he's undone. Now he's 3 wide.
Duckworth has the inside set. Woods will follow through. This is a typical touring car moment, this one. The guy on the outside doesn't just lose one, but he'll get sent back a few. You'll see that in the Virgin Australia Supercars this weekend. If anyone gets exposed at turn 6, they all gang up on them. And Woods with a bit of a double toe here. He's not going to make that one stick.
Ubergang's still really wide. He's able to get back in there and not lose any more spots.
Young to the inside of Woods. Good move. And this should bring Ludby into the battle. Ludby's tucked right up. Look at them slipstreaming each other in a straight line. Cole Clue's a little bit slower than usual here.
Okay, so obviously I'm keeping an eye on the times with the guys out the front while we're watching this battle here. We get a little bit of a replay of the pass. Well, Ubergang up the inside of Pingle, but then runs it wide here. You can just see a little bit sideways on the exit, gets on that dirt, really kills his exit speed, loses a couple of spots.
Oh no, Young gets into Woods. You can actually hear the contact. They somehow both survive it, but will there be damage as a result? They reappear at the exit of turn 5. Ludby had the perfect view of all that happening in front of him.
All right, so looking back to Flack and Pingle and Duckworth have all just started to edge a little bit closer to Tressiter at the front while this battle's going on. So it's going to be very interesting. If they keep that up, they could get to him by the end of the race.
And Ludby's view is something that we can share with you as we go back down the front straight, pulling gears. Good Friday crowd down in this part of the track. And what were we saying about that battle for second? It's continuing. Maybe these two might just be able to work together, though. 2 cars around here can be faster than one if they're on the same wavelength. This is the moment for Young and Woods. Turn 4. Woods is a long way over. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, they just touch. As soon as they touch wheels there, it just seemed like the...
It was a minor contact that turned fairly major because they kind of got hooked up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like it would have been just a little bump normally, but because the wheels do stick out slightly from the guards on these cars, you can have that go-kart effect where the wheels can trip over each other. And, you know, he was probably lucky there that the wheel didn't ride up any higher and really put him high in the air.
Absolutely. It could have been a much scarier moment down there. The battle for second continues as Tressiter's lead builds to just about 3 seconds. Woods, despite that contact, is setting the fastest lap of the race, and he's got the confidence, if you will, to scoot up the inside of Ubergang and go back up to P5. Can he set the fastest lap of the race here? 1:22.0 is the time to beat if he wants it. And he goes into the 21s, the only drive out there with the 21. So that knock has seemed to work for him at the moment.
Maybe just woke him up a little bit. Get a move on. You can see here, like as soon as they get wide, absolutely, with all the dust and with all the rubber from the V8 supercars, it is extremely slippery and very, very hard to hold that line. So here we go, some more slipstreaming down the back straight here with Flack. Back up the inside of Pingle, gets it done quite easily, but same again, slowing each other down. And they're not going to catch Kel Tressida now unless Kel makes a major mistake.
Close quarters action with Trent Young. And a bit further up, this battle for second, not showing any times or signs of slowing at the moment. Love the way these cars just hoik that left front wheel at the exit there at turn 4. Very aggressive, short wheelbase cars. Woods the fastest in this pack, but he's got 3 guys to get around if he wants to, I suppose, make the most of all the speed that he's got.
Oh, Flack's wide there, and you can see how much time he lost.
He's going the long way. Tressida's got traffic up ahead. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for him. Oh, great toe for Woods this time. Moves to the inside of the series leader and should be able to pick the both of them up, and that all started with Flack's bad entry to turn 6. Duckworth losing momentum, aggressively blocking Ubergang. Flack trying to wrestle now that spot back from Woods. Got very close to the rear end of his car and just unsettled it a little bit. Aerodynamics in play there, Physics 101.
It's quite a quick entry to turn 2 as well, so if you can get right up the side or even behind someone right near their rear bumper, you really take that little bit of air off their rear wing, can get the car a little bit loose. It's enough for them to just slide a little bit wide, and then you can't get on the power as early, getting a slow exit. So
the lapper trying to get out of the way here.
You can see there, it's really played in the hands of Woods there.
These guys.
Flack's got a, it seems like he might have a problem here. He's dropped back dramatically, unless he's maybe missed a gear there.
Difficult to do in a sequential box. We go on board with Ludby, who's behind Flack. Looking into the sunshine, down at turn 6.
So Flack lost Flack lost a second in that middle sector there for some reason, some sort of issue that he had. Could have been that lap traffic.
It's a busy circuit with 37 starters in this race.
Oh, Flack's
gone this time. I wonder if he's got a tyre deflating or something, but that looked weird. It was the perfect viewpoint to see him slide off the racetrack. He's got a fast race car, but it's not working for him at the moment. No tyre deflating. Strange. Either way, this car...
He did have the fastest car earlier on, and now he's just really dropped the pace. You can see here, just didn't turn, just couldn't turn it in. So I think he does have some sort of a problem. It doesn't look like a tyre issue, but just a little bit unsettled there on that bump. Entering turn 1 was enough to put him wide onto that dirty part of the track.
That hill will be absolutely packed this weekend, we hope, here at the Coates High Ipswich Super Sprint. Back in the days of the Queensland 500, an event I'm sure you remember fondly. Big crowds around that part of the circuit. Famous event that it was at the turn of the millennium.
There's some pretty exciting stuff happening in that corner over the years, especially in...
Some including the fans.
Exactly, in 2001 when my teammate Radicic was in the sand trap at the end of the race and he had a half-naked bloke in the rain running at him. And as we know, Paul's not he's not a very big fella, so he got out of there quick smart.
Through turn 1, and that's a good move from Trent Young, but Ludby's got the run back at him at 2. This is a good exchange. These cameras taking you into the action.
You can just see that there, the oversteer, how much that cost him down the straight. He was dead alongside coming out of that turn 2 though. As soon as that oversteer happened, he dropped 2 kart lengths. Hard on the brakes. I think it's going to be a slightly shorter race here, 12-lap race. So you can just see the over and under, how much it works. If you can get up the inside in these cars, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to come out of the corner and keep that position.
Oh, here we go. They're still fighting for the minors here. This is the battle for 4th. And the RDA Brakes entry has finally got there, but it's all about this guy. Runs Team Navy on the doors, as well as Fluid Maintenance Australia. He's made the switch from karting into the little Aussie racing cars. He tested this circuit. He's been on top in practice. He'll convert his pole position in qualifying to a race win. And I reckon that he didn't see the checkered flag then, because I thought there'd be a bit more of a celebration from him. This race ending a lap early than we expected. Pingle home for 2nd. That's a good result for the reigning champ. And then it's Woods in third, Duckworth fourth, got the better of Uber Gang. And congratulations to Kel Tressiter, who wins his first race in the Aussie racing cars. And he marks his name down as the 8th different winner for the season. He did win a round at Phillip Island, but did so without a race win. And that is a fantastic effort for Kel. Congratulations, buddy. And the reigning champ comes over to wish him well with both hands out the windows. I want to see you try that in your XY GDHO this weekend.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's possible in that. A little bit wider than these little cars, but what a great race there. Perfect for Kel, perfect start. Put his head down while the guys are fighting behind him. He just drove away. Great stuff.
Got the job done. Pingle, though, back in championship contention here. Craig Woods doing a really good job, also inside the top 5. Trent Young, expect to see a bit more from him this weekend. This track is a favourable one. Harley Haber, great job for him up inside the top 10, finishing in there behind Shibaris. Flack fell all the way back to 11th, so there definitely was something amiss with that car. Tell you what, there's one name still missing from this list. Benny Walsh, second in the points. It was
25th, not a very great race
day. There
him.
it is. Wow, he did pick up the better part of 13 spots, to be fair, but unfortunately that is not the kind of result that he was hoping for. And Ian Shippers never made it to the start of that race.